The courtroom was packed with murmurs as a teenage boy, barely 17, stood nervously before the judge. His clothes were plain, and his hands trembled slightly as he waited for the proceedings to begin. Judge Harmon, a stern man known for his no-nonsense attitude, glanced down at the teen with a dismissive smirk. "So, young man," he began, "what brings you here today? I hope it's not another silly prank." The teen swallowed hard but met the judge's gaze. "Your Honor, I am here to represent myself. I am prepared to defend my case." The courtroom erupted in surprised whispers. It wasn't every day that someone so young asked to self-represent, especially in such a serious matter. Judge Harmon chuckled softly, clearly amused. "You represent yourself? This isn't a school debate. This is a court of law." The teen's calm demeanor didn't waver. "I understand, sir. But I have studied law extensively, and I believe I can make my case clearly." Judge Harmon raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. "Studied law extensively, you say? At your age? That's quite a claim. Most people spend years in law school before they even think about standing here and defending themselves." The teen nodded confidently. "That is true, Your Honor. But I have been studying legal textbooks, court procedures, and case law for several years now. I've also had the opportunity to observe trials and discuss legal principles with practicing attorneys." A murmur ran through the courtroom. The judge leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. "Very well. Let's see what you've got. But don't expect me to go easy just because you're young." The prosecutor, a seasoned attorney named Ms. Carter, watched the scene with a curious smile. "This is highly unusual," she whispered to a colleague. "I wonder if the kid can actually hold his own." The teen took a deep breath, then turned to address the judge with calm precision. "Your Honor, I intend to prove that the charges against me are unfounded. I will present evidence and question witnesses rigorously." The judge tapped his gavel lightly. "Proceed, then. But remember, this court expects order and respect at all times." As the hearing began, the teen surprised everyone by confidently calling witnesses, cross-examining with sharp questions, and citing relevant laws that applied to his defense. His knowledge was undeniable, and his poise in the courtroom was impressive for someone so young. Judge Harmon watched with growing disbelief. Every time the teen made a point, the judge found himself pausing, considering the arguments carefully. By the time the teen rested his case, the atmosphere in the courtroom had shifted completely. What had begun as a moment of ridicule was now turning into one of respect and genuine astonishment. As the teen concluded his final argument, a heavy silence fell over the courtroom. Judge Harmon, who had moments ago been openly skeptical and dismissive, now sat leaning forward, his eyes narrowing thoughtfully as he reviewed the points raised. "Your knowledge of the law is impressive, young man," the judge admitted, voice softer than before. "I must ask, how did you acquire such expertise at your age?" The teen smiled slightly, a quiet confidence shining in his eyes. "Your Honor, I didn't always want to be a lawyer. But after watching my parents struggle through legal battles that seemed unfair and confusing, I made it my mission to understand the law. I dedicated myself to studying whenever I could, reading books, attending local court sessions, and even shadowing a few attorneys when the opportunity arose." The judge's expression shifted from disbelief to genuine curiosity. "And you did all of this without attending formal law school?" "That's correct, sir. While I'm still young and far from a practicing attorney, I've been preparing myself for years with everything available to me. I believe that justice shouldn't depend solely on titles or age, but on understanding and truth." Ms. Carter, the prosecutor, nodded slowly. "It's clear you've put in serious effort. I must admit, this is unlike anything I've seen before." The judge took a deep breath and finally spoke with a newfound respect. "Young man, I want you to know that your performance here today has been nothing short of extraordinary. It is rare to encounter such legal acumen and composure at such a young age." The teen bowed his head slightly, a humble acknowledgement. Thank you, Your Honor. I only seek a fair hearing and the opportunity to prove my case. Judge Harmon looked around the courtroom, eyes meeting those of the spectators and court staff, who were all visibly impressed. Then he addressed the teen directly. Before we proceed to the verdict, I have one more question. Are you truly representing yourself, or is there a lawyer behind the scenes guiding you? The courtroom held its breath. The teen paused, then stood tall. Your Honor, I am, in fact, a licensed attorney. I have been practicing under a different name to better understand how justice is served at every level. I wanted to experience the courtroom as an ordinary citizen firsthand before revealing my true identity. Gasps echoed throughout the room. Judge Harmon's mouth opened slightly, then closed as he processed the revelation. The teen reached into his jacket and pulled out his attorney's badge and license, holding them up for all to see. Judge Harmon was speechless. For the first time in his long career, he was at a loss for words. The courtroom erupted into whispers and astonished murmurs as the teen revealed his attorney's badge and license. Some spectators exchanged amazed glances, while others struggled to believe what they had just witnessed. Judge Harmon remained silent for a moment, the stern mask he usually wore softened by a flicker of admiration. Slowly, he set down his gavel and looked directly at the young man. This is unprecedented, the judge said quietly. To think I mocked you moments ago, unaware of your true identity. I must apologize for underestimating you. The teen nodded respectfully. Thank you, Your Honor. I understand the skepticism. It's not every day that someone my age steps into a courtroom with such confidence. Ms. Carter, the prosecutor, stepped forward, a smile breaking across her face. I must admit, this experience has been enlightening. Your preparation and dedication are remarkable. The judge turned to the courtroom staff. Let this be a reminder to us all, never judge by appearances or age alone. Justice is served best when fairness and knowledge prevail. The teen lowered his badge and took a breath, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. I chose to represent myself today because I wanted the court to see me as any defendant would be seen, not as an attorney with credentials, but as a person seeking justice. Judge Harmon nodded solemnly. And you have made that case admirably. I will take your defense into serious consideration. After a brief recess, the judge returned with the verdict. Having heard all the evidence and arguments, this court finds the defendant not guilty of the charges brought against him. A collective sigh of relief filled the room. The teen smiled, but it was clear his victory was about more than just winning the case, it was about earning respect and proving that determination and knowledge could break down barriers. As the courtroom emptied, Judge Harmon approached the teen privately. I would like to offer you an internship opportunity at my chambers. You have a rare talent, and I believe you could become an exceptional lawyer. The teen's eyes widened in surprise and gratitude. That would be an incredible honor, Your Honor. Thank you. Walking away from the courtroom that day, the teen knew he had changed not only his own future but also the way others might view those who dared to defy expectations. In the weeks that followed the courtroom drama, news of the teen's remarkable courtroom performance spread quickly through the legal community and local media. Stories highlighted not just the surprising twist of a young attorney disguised as a defendant, but the deeper message of perseverance, dedication, and challenging assumptions. The internship at Judge Harmon's chambers proved to be more than a simple opportunity, it was a launching pad. The judge took a personal interest in mentoring the teen, introducing him to experienced attorneys and encouraging him to take on real cases under supervision. Despite his youth, the teen's insight and passion for justice impressed everyone he met. He worked tirelessly, often staying late to review case files and prepare arguments. But he never lost the humility and grounded perspective that had earned him respect in the courtroom. One afternoon, while researching a particularly complex case involving tenant rights, the teen received a message from an established law firm. They had seen his story and wanted to offer him a scholarship to attend law school, a recognition of both his talent and his determination. The teen accepted the offer gratefully but remained committed to his hands-on learning approach. Books are invaluable, he told Judge Harmon one day, but understanding people, their struggles, and their stories, that's what makes a lawyer truly effective. Judge Harmon smiled. You've taught me something important as well, that wisdom and skill are not limited by age, and that the future of law is in good hands. As months turned into years, the teen graduated at the top of his class, passing the bar exam with flying colors. His journey, which had started with skepticism and mockery, evolved into one of triumph and respect. Now a fully licensed attorney, he chose to focus his career on helping underrepresented individuals navigate the legal system, ensuring that others like him would never feel powerless or overlooked. Looking back on that pivotal day in court, the teen knew that what mattered most wasn't the surprise of his disguise, but the chance to prove that knowledge, courage, and integrity can break through any barrier. Years later, the young attorney's story continued to inspire countless others. He became a sought-after speaker at schools, community centers, and legal forums, sharing not only his journey but the lessons he had learned along the way. He emphasized the importance of preparation, resilience, and the refusal to be defined by others' expectations. Whether you're a teenager or an adult, he would say, knowledge is power, but courage is what makes that power meaningful. His work in the legal field also gained recognition for its compassionate approach. He often took on pro bono cases, especially those involving young defendants or individuals without access to quality legal representation. His belief was clear: everyone deserves a fair chance to be heard, regardless of their background or circumstances. One day, during a panel discussion at a prestigious law conference, the attorney recounted the day he stood before Judge Harmon, still disguised as an ordinary teenager. The audience hung on every word, captivated by the drama and the message of hope. Justice, he explained, is not just about laws written on paper. It's about the people those laws affect, their stories, their struggles, and their dignity. Never let anyone tell you who you can or cannot be, because the truth is far more powerful than appearances. Judge Harmon, now retired but still actively involved in the community, watched the event with pride. The young man he had once doubted had grown into a leader and a role model. Their relationship had evolved beyond judge and defendant to mentor and protege, friends bound by a shared commitment to fairness and the rule of law. Together, they worked on initiatives to improve legal education and access for youth, hoping to inspire a new generation of advocates who would challenge stereotypes and raise the bar for justice. And through it all, the story of the day the judge was left speechless remained a testament to what can happen when we look beyond the surface, listen carefully, and believe in the potential of every individual. As his reputation grew, the young attorney faced new challenges, both professional and personal, that tested the very principles he stood for. Despite his success, he encountered skeptics who questioned his unconventional path into law, doubting whether someone who had not followed the traditional route could truly belong in the upper echelons of the legal profession. Rather than be discouraged, he used these doubts as fuel to prove his worth. In one particularly high-profile case involving corporate negligence, he stood toe-to-toe with some of the most experienced lawyers in the city. His meticulous preparation, sharp legal mind, and unwavering commitment to justice quickly silenced any critics in the courtroom. Outside the courtroom, he also navigated the complex dynamics of balancing youth with professionalism. Clients, colleagues, and even judges sometimes struggled to reconcile his age with his authority. But time and again, his integrity and skill earned their respect. Behind the scenes, he never forgot his roots. He regularly visited schools in underprivileged areas, offering workshops on legal literacy and empowering young people to understand their rights. His story became a beacon of hope for many who felt invisible or underestimated by society. One memorable visit was to a youth detention center, where he spoke with teenagers facing legal troubles. He listened patiently to their stories, many marked by hardship and misunderstanding, and encouraged them to see the law not as an enemy but as a tool for fairness and change. Knowledge can be your greatest ally, he told them. But more importantly, never lose sight of your worth. The system might seem intimidating, but with courage and the right support, you can navigate it. His message resonated deeply, inspiring some of those teens to pursue education and legal careers themselves. Meanwhile, Judge Harmon often reflected on how that courtroom encounter had changed his perspective. He became a vocal advocate for recognizing talent and potential regardless of age or background, pushing for reforms that made legal education and court access more inclusive. Together, their story sparked conversations in legal circles and beyond, about breaking stereotypes, fostering mentorship, and building a justice system that truly serves everyone. And as the young attorney's career blossomed, he remained humble and driven, always remembering the day he stepped into that courtroom not as a lawyer, but as a teenager determined to be heard, and how that moment had transformed his life forever. As the young attorney's journey continued, he quickly realized that breaking into the traditional legal world was only the beginning of a much larger battle. Despite his undeniable talent and early success, he encountered resistance from some quarters, lawyers and judges who questioned his unconventional background and unconventional methods. Many were skeptical of his rapid rise, whispering that he had bypassed the proper channels, or that his youth was a liability rather than an asset. In meetings and courtrooms alike, the young attorney found himself having to prove his credibility repeatedly. Some opponents tried to undermine him by questioning his experience or the seriousness of his approach. But instead of backing down, he met every challenge head-on, armed with thorough research, articulate arguments, and an unwavering belief in justice. One particularly high-stakes case involved a group of small business owners suing a large corporation for unfair practices. The attorneys on the opposing side were seasoned professionals who scoffed at the idea that someone so young could hold their ground. The courtroom was packed with reporters, legal experts, and curious spectators, all eager to see how the young lawyer would perform under pressure. He spent countless nights preparing, meticulously analyzing every detail of the case law, statutes, and precedents that could support his clients. When the day came to present his arguments, he spoke with clarity and authority that silenced any lingering doubts. His questions during cross-examination were precise and strategic, exposing inconsistencies in the opposition's case. By the end of the trial, the judge commended his professionalism and depth of knowledge, acknowledging that his efforts had significantly influenced the verdict in favor of the small business owners. The victory was not only a personal milestone but a powerful statement about what passion and perseverance can achieve regardless of age. Beyond the courtroom, the young attorney made it his mission to empower others who faced barriers to justice. He organized free legal clinics and educational programs, teaching young people in underserved communities about their rights and how to navigate the complex legal system. His workshops became popular, drawing in attendees eager to learn from someone who had once stood where they were, overlooked, underestimated, but unbroken. One particularly moving experience came during a visit to a youth detention center. There, he met teens grappling with the consequences of poor choices and harsh circumstances. Rather than lecturing, he listened, really listened, to their stories of struggle and hope. He reminded them that while their pasts didn't define them, understanding their rights and the law could help them shape a better future. Your voice matters, he told them gently. Knowing the law is about more than winning cases, it's about standing up for yourself and others. It's about fairness, dignity, and the chance to rewrite your story. His words planted seeds of hope. Some of those teenagers later wrote to him, thanking him for showing them that their circumstances did not have to limit their potential. Meanwhile, Judge Harmon, who had retired but remained active in legal education and reform, often spoke publicly about the profound impact the young attorney had on his own thinking. The judge advocated for more inclusive legal training and mentorship programs, urging colleagues to recognize talent in all its diverse forms. Together, the two worked on initiatives designed to lower barriers to legal education and court participation, especially for youth and marginalized communities. Their collaboration became a symbol of change, a testament to how understanding and opportunity can transform lives. As the young attorney reflected on his remarkable path, he remained grounded. The lessons from that first courtroom appearance, the skepticism, the challenge, the eventual respect, continued to shape his approach to law and life. For him, the true victory was never about proving others wrong, it was about breaking down walls so that others might walk through more freely. With every case he took on and every speech he delivered, the young attorney became more than just a lawyer, he became a symbol of possibility. His story was shared widely, inspiring countless young people who saw in him a reflection of their own dreams and struggles. His work extended beyond the courtroom. He collaborated with schools to develop legal literacy programs, ensuring that students could understand their rights and the basics of the justice system before they ever found themselves entangled in it. He believed that prevention was just as important as advocacy. One of his proudest achievements was the creation of a mentorship network that paired law students and young professionals with experienced attorneys and judges. This program helped bridge gaps that had long hindered diversity and inclusion within the legal field. The attorney also used technology to broaden his reach. He launched an online platform offering free legal resources, QA sessions, and webinars targeted at underserved communities. This virtual approach made legal knowledge accessible to those who might never set foot inside a courtroom. Despite his growing public profile, he remained humble and approachable. He made it a point to remember the nervous teen he once was, the one who stood before Judge Harmon, uncertain but determined. One afternoon, he received a call from a young woman who had recently faced legal troubles. She thanked him for the guidance she found through his online resources, explaining how they helped her navigate a difficult custody case. "It gave me confidence," she said softly. "I felt like I wasn't alone." Moments like this reminded him why he had chosen this path, not for fame or fortune, but to make a tangible difference in people's lives. Judge Harmon, watching from the sidelines, often marveled at the impact his former courtroom adversary had made. "He's not just a lawyer," the judge remarked in an interview, "he's a beacon of hope. The kind of lawyer the justice system desperately needs." Their story, from courtroom surprise to partnership in reform, became a case study in law schools and a topic of conversation at legal conferences. It challenged old assumptions and encouraged institutions to rethink how they recognize and nurture talent. And through it all, the young attorney never lost sight of one core truth, that the law is not just a set of rules, but a powerful instrument for change, when wielded with knowledge, compassion, and courage. Years passed, and the young attorney's influence continued to grow. He became a respected figure not only for his legal expertise but also for his unwavering commitment to justice and equality. His journey, from a teen mocked in a courtroom to a celebrated advocate, served as a powerful reminder that true ability often lies hidden beneath unexpected surfaces. He never forgot the moment when Judge Harmon had dismissed him as just another inexperienced teenager. Instead, he carried that memory as motivation, to prove that age, appearance, or background should never determine one's value or potential. Together, he and Judge Harmon continued to champion reforms aimed at making the legal system fairer and more accessible. They worked to dismantle barriers for young people and those from marginalized communities, ensuring more voices could be heard and respected. In speeches, interviews, and classrooms, the attorney shared his story not to boast, but to inspire. He encouraged others to pursue their dreams relentlessly, to prepare diligently, and to believe fiercely in their own worth. Sometimes, he would say, the greatest victories come from the moments when others doubt you the most. Use that doubt as fuel. Let it drive you to be better, stronger, and wiser. His life became a testament to the power of knowledge, courage, and resilience, a beacon for anyone who has ever been underestimated or overlooked. And as he stood before a new generation of aspiring lawyers, he reminded them that the law, at its best, is a tool for justice, not just for the privileged, but for everyone.